Your typical podcast.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for listening to Your Typical Podcast. Me and Mikhail are here. You might have noticed we did not have an episode last week. Our bads. But we're here to review. It was Zach Brown's fault, to be honest. But we're here to review episode 4 and 5 of Survivor 50. Welcome back.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Audience, glad to be here. Sorry that we took the week off. It was kind of, some would say, the worst one of the season, most likely, for episodes. We both got really busy and scheduling just didn't work out. And we're like, it wasn't that great of an episode. Don't know how many of you would even want to listen to that episode. So we're just going to merge them.
Yeah, merge. Speaking of merge.
You mentioned.
So you already mentioned it, but let's briefly talk about episode 4. Truthfully, like we said, we don't really have much to say. I think how long is the episode? 90 minutes? I think the first, let's say, hour and 20 minutes, I was very uninterested. So that leaves us with 10 minutes at the end.
10
and
good
then
minutes.
it got better, towards the tribal council. But what were your thoughts, as a whole?
I mean, I'm going to address the elephant in the room. Zach Brown got 4 confessionals. And I believe Tiffany only had, I don't even know if she got one that episode. Was it 1 or 2?
I think she might have got one that episode.
What? Isn't that crazy?
That is.
That
Even after episode 5, she still has more confessionals than Tiffany.
Isn't that crazy? That needs to be addressed first off. And I think going in, I think Angelina just had a podcast and she after her exit, which spoilers, but if you're listening to this, you should already know about it. But she basically expressed that how a lot of the females this season have been very under edited and also confessional wise really bad. So seeing that, I think really opened up people's eyes, because I think it was being briefly mentioned, but then seeing, Zach Brown's got his own montage and his own fishing confessional, they're like, what the heck is happening? So hopefully,
sucks.
The audience is able to say something about that,
Yeah, and hopefully, I know, sometimes with TV shows, specifically reality TV, when people are talking about it, they are taking notes as they go. So I hope, I don't know if you've ever seen RuPaul's Drag Race, but they were able to edit out a person completely from the season after the season already started airing. So if they can do that, I think Survivor can turn it around and let's start giving our people, more screen time, because they deserve it. And also it just kind of sucks. It sucks to not do that.
Yeah, imagine you come back for season 50 and it's you watch it and you're like, I had these good confessionals and this stuff, and you watch it and it's you're like, only one confessional. What?
Yeah, Chrissy even said, at this point, it feels like I was on a vacation. You guys probably did.
I could talk the Zach Brown reward. Dee was so excited. It broke my heart that she didn't get it. She was the only one excited for it. Other than that, there was the little kumbaya, this is great and stuff, but did we need to listen to 2 or 3 songs only, to eat up those minutes? No. Give us strategy, give us other stuff.
We did not need the 2 or 3 songs. It was kind of weird that they even showed us. I don't know why they did that. Also, I do know that music costs a lot of money for shows. So I wonder if they got the rights to the music and they're like, no, we gotta budget cuts. We gotta play all of these. We gotta listen to the whole thing. I wish we got to see that Angelina on the show.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I remember I watched I think it might have been a different part of that podcast, or where she just was talking about that, but even go more in depth of I'm upset about the editing, but it was nice to be able to be back out there, because I'm not doing it for that. I'm doing it for the adventure, which I really appreciated, because I feel like a lot of people, it's I want to get famous, or I want to be, it's not for the adventure. So that was a nice ad.
Honestly, if I ever went on Survivor, it would be for the character journey. I always am very impressed when it feels like it changes you in a way, and I would want that personally.
I just want to be a character. That's what I'd want to do if I was on there.
Are you going with the milkman? Is that your? Is
I
that
don't know.
your?
I feel like I should, but they already have David from 48, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah, I
mix
think
between David and Rizzo. You know what I mean, or something.
I think we need something a little more. I don't know, something because milkman. You're right. Like people call David that, and
Mm,
yeah, I think you could be a little more like something more like Riz God is something that can is good in any situation. Milk
yeah,
only if there's milk around, but if there's no milk, what are you talking about?
true. I'm like, every reward should have milk at this point.
Exactly. I mean, they need
But
the calcium. They need it. All right. So just to talk about some small things I felt worthy of talking about
Mhm.
in this episode. That feels so bad to say worthy. But like things that happened in the last episode that I guess play a part in this episode. One of the first things is Genevieve found another Billie Eilish boomerang idol, a Bibby. And she gave it to Rizzo. Do you think that was a good
RZGOD.
decision?
Um, I think it was, and I think that I did say she was not gonna last very long. We'll see. There's a triple boot coming up in the next
Yeah.
episode. But Rizzo said, like in the thing, just saying, I think it was in the last episode, so not this one. But he thinks that Genevieve was the one that gave it to him. So
So
like,
he's
I
smart.
think it was a. I think it's kind of like where it's like, okay, it's a little scary, because now he knows who gave it to him. But it's like also at the same point, you have trust in Rizzo. So now, what is Genevieve going to do moving forward with that
But
information?
he
Is
doesn't know
she
about the boomerang part either,
He
which I think
doesn't.
is
So
important
that
to
so
know.
that'll be
Yeah.
the interesting thing is
Uh-huh.
if Rizzo, come merge that next episode and goes to Genevieve going like, "Thank you for the idol, thank you all for this," and Genevieve's sitting there like, "Oh, does he think I'm gonna take him out? Does he think we're
Yeah.
aligned? Like, what is it?"
Uh-huh.
So it's gonna be interesting seeing how she approaches that.
I agree. We've all seen how Rizzo plays a season with an idol in his pocket. So I think she awoke the beast that was Riz God. He's back. He's back, baby, and he's ready to play. I thought it was a good decision from her. I will say, if Genevieve does go home like you've been predicting, the whole Billie Eilish boomerang idol twist kind of
Gone.
breaks. It breaks
All
because
depends
like
on her.
she gave the idol to two people, and then I would assume that the only way she goes home if Aubrey uses her idol, which then it doesn't go back to Christian. But then if Rizzo or Ozzy go home with the idol in their pocket and Genevieve's gone, no one gets it. So it's like, I don't know. Maybe they should have thought about it a little better. Maybe it shouldn't have been able for one person to find more than one. I don't know what they could have done or how they could have avoided that. I think it makes sense that Genevieve found more than one just because if you did find one, you knew that it was there, therefore you're able to go look for the other one, especially
Mhm.
when you get a tribe swap. But that's just something to throw out that the whole season breaks without Genevieve there. I said it.
Agree. I think for me, I wish that they had something different, like maybe another idol, or maybe not an idol, but like an advantage that you could find that was like more creative and that caused kind of more chaos on the beach of like, oh, like we have to scheme, we have to like, kind of like with Tony with that spy shack, like things like that, where it's like people are like looking out for it because it's like, oh, I found an idol. Guess what? It's not mine. It's now
Yeah.
Rizzo's or it's
And
now
it sucks
Aubrey's. Like,
because, like, in any other season, Genevieve finds two idols. She is set for
she's
like the
in,
whole season.
yeah,
She's in such a good
she's running it.
position. Yeah, so that's like sucky for her. And also like, why stop at Billie Eilish Boomerang Idol? If you're gonna go that far, like let's get some other stuff out here too. Like it's season 50. Seems like you're just kind of like being whimsical and like fun. Like, hey, like where are the other advantages? We honestly we haven't seen a advantage besides an idol since Savannah, and she went home with it in her pocket. So
Exactly.
give us something else. I want to see something else. All right. So other stuff. I don't think we need to say it. Batu lost again. They are the disaster tribe. They
Yeah.
can't win anything. Sending Q home was not a good idea for them.
Came back to bite 'em.
So them trying to figure out the vote. So Ozzy still wants Angelina.
Mhm.
Because Emily promised Ozzy that he'd be able to get Angelina if they voted out Q. Mike wanted Emily, actually, which is kind of surprising to me. And then Christian's goal was just to protect Emily.
Mhm.
I did find it interesting that they weren't even thinking about Ozzy. I was like, oh, okay. My, how the tides have turned. Ozzy's name was right there in the first few tribals, and now it's like not even on the table anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting with Christian protecting Emily because of all the kind of chaos, like she can't keep her mouth shut in a sense of like information. She's just giving it out. So like personally, a little interesting that he's kind of put a lot of his dice into Emily. But I guess it makes sense a little bit, having that previous connection being like, hey, like, even though you wronged me, look at I'm locking in with you. That should show the most amount of trust because I'm still trusting you even after you did that. Um, Personally, I think Ozzy just not even being kind of on the table is wild in my eyes, but I also can understand it because, well, I mean, they keep losing in a sense, right? Like,
Yeah,
so it's
so
like,
tribe straight's
does
not
it
important.
matter to
Yeah.
have a physical threat at this point because you're not even winning at this point? So it's like, so at this point, just get whatever you can. So it's definitely interesting.
And then we get this whole Mike versus Christian thing that I didn't expect. I did think it made sense to get one of those David versus Goliath 3 out because they were moving into a 5-person tribe, and you didn't want Christian, Mike, and Angelina to have all the power in like a tribe. Like I feel like that's too much power. So it made sense. They should have just got them out first. I don't know why Q made sense for anyone, to be honest. I know. Maybe I just like Q a lot, and I'm like, damn, you guys shouldn't have got him out. But then we get this whole moment between Mike and Christian because basically Mike is like, Christian, we got to get Emily out. She's willing to lie and like
Mhm.
deceive. It's just like the girl, what was her name from Dave vs. Goliath? Like you're being
Gabby.
like, you're falling into the same pattern, and Christian really doesn't like that. So then that's when Christian flips the vote on Mike. But
Mhm.
then Christian comes up with this whole plan of like it needs to be a 3-2-1 plan. This didn't really make sense to me. I'm curious to know
Mhm.
your perception on like this whole three. I need it to be a 3-2-1 vote. Did this make sense?
Yes. So, okay. So, firstly, I want to talk about Mike. Mike, I love that gameplay that Mike had for that. It was kind of like the Godfather in a sense. Like I've never seen that from his game, so very interesting. Um, Him bringing up about Gabby, you never know how someone's going to take information like that. Probably would not have done that. I think that probably ultimately is what cost him. And kind of the gears started turning. The 3-2-1, I think it was smart in a sense because it allowed because it was what? It was Christian, Emily, and Ozzy, right? That voted. Or no, sorry. Christian, Emily, and Stephanie voted
Yeah. Christian,
um
Emily, Stephanie voted Mike.
Mike. And then
Angelina votes
Angelina.
and Mike voted Emily. And then Ozzy voted Angelina.
Yeah. So I think it was smart in that sense because one, it split the vote. You didn't get the information out to where it could have possibly been a 3-3 because I think if Ozzy realized that Mike was the target, Ozzy would have been like, I can't get Angelina out. Like, but at the same point, like Ozzy's so close with Emily. So it's like, I think that it would have been interesting to see how he would have reacted, but I think Christian was looking at probability of like if he doesn't know, then there's like zero chance of it being screwed up in 3-3. And I think also like for Christian wise, I think one, it solidifies Emily, and two, it starts to build that bond with Stephanie of like, hey, Stephanie, you were on the out. You could have been taken out, but look at what I did. I stuck my neck out there. I voted out Mike, who was on my season and all that stuff. And can I be honest with you? I love it. I love that Christian did that. Even though Mike White was getting entertaining, I love it because he said, you know what? You helped get me out on my last season. Guess what? Bye bye. Bye bye. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that. That to me, I love that because it's like Christian comparing him from last season, this season, he is playing the game. And I think
Yeah, he
honestly,
is.
I don't know if it's the edit, but he has been playing like, in my opinion, the hardest and the strongest so far in that sense. But my thing that I worry about for him is he might get himself in trouble. And I do have a friend who he wanted me to mention him on the podcast. His name is Jake. He works with me. He mentioned a theory where we're getting a lot of Christian content and some of Genevieve because they either go out or the merge gets really, really boring. And
Yeah.
the reason why we're getting it so much is to hype it up, being like, okay, look, you had all this content. Okay, maybe it's not as good. So a little worried for that. Hopefully that theory doesn't come true, but I've been loving how Christian's
Yeah.
been playing lately.
I've seen that too, where maybe Tiffany's not getting a lot of
Mhm.
confessionals because she sticks around versus like some people like Christian might go home sooner than later. I think it was not a bad move for Christian. I guess like for me, it was a mistake in like managing the other people outside of this plan.
Mhm.
Because I think lying to Ozzy really put him in a bad position with Ozzy. And moving forward, he needed Ozzy's vote to be able to do anything. So like I just think he wasn't thinking about past the like, okay, we get Mike White out this round, which makes me think, why not Angelina instead of
Mhm.
Mike White? Like, why not just get Angelina out this round to appease Ozzy to make him happy, and then the next round, okay, now like I guess you might not have the number. It just didn't, for me. It didn't seem necessary to lie to Ozzy to like
Mhm.
alienate him to the point where now Ozzy's upset with him because like Ozzy even said like in the next episode like I could tell Emily was trying to give me a hint. I could tell that Stephanie like was kind of
Mhm.
just going along with the plan. It was Christian's idea, and it made me feel like it was kind of like a flashy move for no reason because I think he could have got out Mike White
Mhm.
without lying to Ozzy, like without like putting
Yeah.
Ozzy in a bad position, in my opinion. Even if Ozzy did tell Mike White, what the fuck was he gonna do about it? Like he doesn't have an idol. He could play a shot in the dark, which is great because then he doesn't have a vote. So it's like
Mhm.
I like the likelihood of that working would have been low. So I'm like, I would have just chanced it, and then truthfully, I think Christian also could have banked on the idea like, okay, if Mike White does end up being safe with a shot in the dark, then Angelina goes home. Win-win. There's like
Mhm.
not really a loss in that instance. So I don't know. It just seemed a little irresponsible from him.
Mhm.
And in the next episode, which I guess we can move to, Mike goes home.
Mhm.
Uh, um,
Mike
so
White. Oh,
Mike White goes home, sad.
no.
You're probably happy you didn't take him on your team.
Yes.
Mike goes home 3-2-1, like we said. But Ozzy is upset, and I think it's justified. Like, if you leave me out of a vote, but we're all working together, my only thought would be like, you guys, you left me out of this vote. I just voted for Angelina. Clearly, me and Angelina are on the outside of this three-person group. That's
Mhm.
very clear to me. And I would be pissed as well. So I don't know why Christian was so surprised that he was pissed. I think he should have expected that.
Yeah. And I mean, going into this this next episode, like Ozzy, even Jeff called it out, had a tantrum a little bit, and
Yeah.
I like that Ozzy acknowledged it, admitted it, because I think that that can build trust because he's being open to like the tribe, right? I thought we had a very interesting scene with Cochran where
Yeah.
he was like, this is what's happened to me. This is, it kind of was giving me like a little bit like Charlie, from what we've seen. And not the pettiness side, but I think the more worried side, like where Charlie's like, my number one did not vote for me. Ozzy's like, Cochran did this to me and blindsided me. So like, I think it was very symbolic seeing it that way of just the, like the edit of just like Cochran there, Christian here. Christian's like, oh crap. Like, and that was smart of him remembering that. That was what I was saying is like, do your homework, kids. You got to do your homework for Survivor. Survivor 50 is the test. And I feel like Christian, he did do his homework on that. But now he's got a real Ozzy in because Ozzy does have connections to the other side.
Yeah.
So that was my big thing. I'm like, if you're gonna do that, you need to lock Ozzy in because he has connections, or you need to cut him next. He needs
Yeah.
to go.
Yeah. You need to like either have him in your plans or like not have him in your plan at all and
Mhm.
plan to get him
Can't just
out.
let him float there. Can't let him
Mhm.
float there.
Um, then next we see in the episode that basically you get like a Sela. You kind of honestly, the episode kind of tells us who loses tribal because like we only see Sela and Vatu's like dynamics really,
Mhm.
but basically Sela, you get to a sense of like Charlie has this vendetta against Rizzo. He will not let
Mhm.
it go. He's stuck on it. Rizzo has to go because Rizzo did not vote for his number one, which is
Mhm.
so funny. I actually like, let's pause there for a second. It's funny to me that Charlie is so upset at this when it's actually a lie from Rizzo. Like
Mhm.
Rizzo's not really being very truthful to the fact, like, yes, Sophie, I was close to Sophie, but Savannah was actually his number one throughout the entire
Mm.
game. Like they started on the same tribe, they went to the end together. So I'm like, Charlie, why are you taking this as like I don't know? I feel
Hard,
like he's
yeah.
putting so much weight into what Rizzo was saying, and he made his whole storyline. And I feel like I know you said like last episode that Charlie may be upset about like how the season played out and like how people whatever. I would be upset too if like everything I said this entire season was how angry I was at Maria. Therefore, I can't trust Rizzo, and I need to get rid. That's literally his entire. He would not let it go, and it was
Yeah.
wild to me.
I mean, that I think that ultimately was his downfall, And, right now I'm actually wearing kind of the closest I could get to the Charlie fit, and then I got Angelina's buff, so I'm I'm mourning for them,
Yeah,
but I think that when I
no
look
love
at
for Mike White.
it's too late. It's already passed. He'll win the battle back, don't worry. But so with Charlie, I think that it's hard to see when he played so well in his season, and then to come here after that time and kind of get so like headstrong locked in. And it's like I understand that you do not know Rizzo. Like you can't really do your homework on Rizzo. He's that, I think it was Camilla was saying it's like the unknown variable, doesn't know what he did, what he was like, right? So like for Charlie, yes, he doesn't know, but it's like at the same point if you're going to make that assumption on someone, you should really get to know who they are.
Yeah,
Does Rizzo seem like the type of person to do that? Or is he like the goofy type? Because I think Maria and Rizzo are two different types of people in the nicest way. And maybe Charlie was blind to that with Maria because he was so close to her. But like, I think that he should have focused on being like, okay, let me invest some time into Rizzo. Hey Rizzo, you want to go for a walk and like I don't know,
yeah. Let me
like
get to
hit
know you.
coconuts with a baseball bat
Yeah,
just to like see where Rizzo's at. And if Rizzo's opening up to you, you can be like, okay, regardless of what happened, let me move past that mindset and work with Rizzo to get me to the merge where I can build other connections and to say, okay, now I'm making that decision on my path. Have I trusted Rizzo to this point? And I'm going to be like, okay, I'm going to play differently than I was. Or am I going to say, you know what? Maybe I want to go over with, Ozzy or, a Christian or something, you know what I mean? Or coach, just change it up. So I don't like that he was so like strong. I do like that it's different, but I was like, Charlie, come on, man. Like, wake up. I get it.
yeah.
Wake up,
I mean, he even like woke Rizzo up out of his sleep to
Uh-huh.
ask him who else he told. And I think the moral to the story is like Charlie was severely underestimating Rizzo. Like he like was like, I can get this kid out, no problem. I'm gonna lie to him and tell him that Jonathan was asking me about the idol as if he knew. And Rizzo's like, you woke me up at early in the morning to tell me this, like
Mhm.
it's fine, like whatever. I literally just told you information. It wasn't even something that like I don't think the information that Rizzo shared with Charlie would have warranted anyone getting upset or like cautious or anything. Like, because Rizzo was very truthful. Like, this was found
Mhm.
on my beach. We all knew about it. It got
Mhm.
like that was it. So it was like interesting. And Charlie like woke him up. He like kind of put him in a corner, and yeah, it was weird. And then it's another reason why I agree with Angelina and just like the editing. Where like this next thing that we see is D kind of approaching Rizzo with the idea of a four-person alliance with Camilla, Cirie, and her. But like
Mhm.
the whole episode is kind of centered around how Rizzo formed this alliance against Charlie. So it's kind of like weird editing. You can kind of tell that
Yeah.
like it was more of a group effort, but
Mhm.
like Rizzo kind of got all the credit for it too.
Yeah. I definitely noticed that. I think that Angelina actually I think it was Angelina, don't quote me, was saying that like even a lot of the season, it was kind of like these alliances were played through the eyes of like the men on the season, and it wasn't
Yeah.
like Angelina. This is Angelina's process of thinking for it, and this is how she did this. It was like, oh, like this was Christians, or this was Ozzy's, or this was Mike White's, So like
Mm.
like even with this, like they're coining it Black Widow Brigade. They're like the memes where it's like close enough. Let's bring bring it back. And I love it, and I'm hoping that the reason the editing is doing that is because later they're going to show it more
Yeah,
on
like
the
the
other
women
side,
take
you know what I
over,
mean? And I
hopefully.
think that maybe they're just trying to transition it because they knew Charlie was going, so trying to
Mhm.
transition so that they're showing, like, Rizzo and Charlie beef. Okay, now look at what the new thing is, and I think they started doing it at the end with, like, Camilla's thought process and how Camilla's
Yeah,
processing, which I appreciate it. So I'm hoping that's where it's going, where it's like, okay, this is not just 1, this is 4, the new
yeah.
2.0 Black Widow Brigade. Load it up.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Camilla,
Um
let's lock it in. Come on.
Camilla, let's do it. So then, like, Rizzo's like, you know what? I can tell that Charlie is not feeling me. Like, I'm not, Rizzo's not stupid. Like, he's like, Charlie's not feeling me. Now I'm going to play him in his own game. He activated Operation Bad Blood
Bad
in honor of
blood.
Charlie and Taylor Swift. And I also found it funny that Dee was like, you know what? I thought Charlie was like the biggest threat, but I think he's like the dumbest. Like, he's just kind of
Yeah.
like walking around as if he is owning the place. And also, I thought it was interesting that and maybe I'm just like, they didn't show it, so I don't know. Seemed like Charlie was putting so much bank into this Kahlo 4 that he wasn't really seeing past that. And he even said something like, no one's really talking strategy. And it's like, well, everyone's always talking strategy. No one's just
Yeah.
talking strategy with you. And I think you should be alarmed when you made it all the way to the end of a Survivor game where you're like, wait, I think the plan is Rizzo. 5 of the 7 of us are locked into that. I would be cautious of that. I would be like, okay, wait, but Rick Devens and Cirie were here before. Why wouldn't they vote together? Then obviously, if it's Rizzo now, then Cirie would think she's next. So what is Cirie like? I would start
Mhm.
thinking
Thinking
through those
ahead.
mechanics, but he didn't. He didn't do that. I found
Yeah.
it interesting. Rizzo told Dee about his idol. I was like, oh, they're locked in, locked in.
Yeah. I think for me, couple things. Like with Charlie, for example, I don't know if it was the editing that was doing it to him, but like his strategy that he was doing was going like, Jonathan, did you hear this about Rizzo? He has an idol. Camilla, did you hear this about Rizzo? He has an idol. I'm sorry, if I'm hearing that as someone on the island and that is the only thing that you are telling me, you are not close to me. You are not going to work with me. You are
Also,
just
not
trying to
it
get me
wasn't
to
that Rizzo had an idol. It was that did Rizzo tell you about the Billie Eilish Boomerang idol?
tell
Like
you about it,
he didn't
right?
even
But
have it.
that
It's like, did he tell you about the idea of it?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is like, if I'm hearing that, it's like you were just trying to get one thing in my ear so that I vote with you, not hey, like Camilla, like let's talk strategy. Like, how's it going? What are you thinking about the numbers? What do you think this? Maybe the
Yeah.
edit cut it out for time being, but like it just showing that I'm like, I wouldn't want to trust Charlie. Like, I think
Mm-mm.
that is a dumb move that D was saying. I love how D was playing too. Like, it really reminds me from her winter season, like, just, like, the way she was kinda, like, having that control of, like, "This guy's dumb, dude, like, let's do that," like, and I like that, and I think that I think it was you I think you were saying that D is probably gonna be the one that goes far and the
Yeah.
farthest, so I really like how she's playing, and I think she's gonna be doing pretty good.
Well, I think Dee is just dumb. Like she's not one that's gonna like sit on her hands and like wait for opportunities to
Mhm.
happen. Like the fact that she went to Rizzo was like, hey, if you go out, I feel like I'm probably gonna be next or like next on the list. I don't want to be controlling by Jonathan and Devins and Charlie. Absolutely not. I want to call the shots. Let's form a 4-person alliance so we can call the shots in this tribe. Who's going home next?
Mhm.
And also, then we have that 4-person alliance that got born. And then
Mhm.
we get to see, I called it Cerizzo.
Rizzo.
Rizzo, Cirie and Rizzo kind of like link up, and it made me like remember like the last 2 episodes where we got one scene where Cirie's like, "What the fuck is a Riz god?" Like, ugh, like and he's like, "Oh, Cirie, remember when I met you this time?" And she's like, "Yeah, haha." And now we get them like sharing. Cirie has not told anyone about this extra vote, and now Rizzo is the only other person that knows besides Ozzy, and I think that's big. Like, I think it reminded me of like what Q said about like, don't bring an empty plate to my dinner party. Like,
Mhm.
bring me something. And like Rizzo brought Cirie something about this idol, and Cirie's like, why the extra vote? And I really do think like this duo is gonna be unexpected and might carry them through the season. That's my guess.
Yeah, I love it. I really do. I think it, they teased it a little bit where Rizzo's like, I saw you at this thing. We're like, and I think Rizzo, maybe the edit's making him a little naive in a sense of not realizing, Cirie is playing the game. It's a little
Yeah,
different than, hey, Cirie, how are you? Oh, can I have a hug? No, Cirie is playing this game to win, right? So I think it was very bold, one of Rizzo even telling her about the idol, but then her being open about the extra vote that she has. And I really do like this duo. And I think Cirie's smart in a sense, I mean, it's a risk to tell anybody, but I think you have to build trust, and Ozzy isn't on
yeah,
her tribe.
yeah.
You know what
He's
I mean?
not.
And Rick Devens is doing whatever Rick Devens does, hopefully he comes back and works with Cirie. But I mean, I heard a theory too that Rick and Cirie are working together, but they're like on both sides so
Yeah,
that
I
they
mean
can
that
hear
makes
what's
sense
happening,
though.
which would be really sick.
Yeah, that makes sense. We didn't get to see it, but I actually thought about like, why wouldn't Cirie and Devins vote together? And I thought
Mm,
about it. I'm like, I guess like in a way, I would be like, Devins, if me and you are like, we're locked in, whatever side, it will just tell people how close we are. I will want it to seem like we're not close at all. Like, if you're
mhm,
not going home and I'm not going home, who gives a fuck like whose name is written on the paper? Like, you vote your people, I vote my people. We share our notes at the end, like, ha ha
mm,
ha. We knew that this was happening. So I'm thinking we just hadn't seen it yet. But I also think they voted together. Or they at least talked about the vote. The last
mm.
thing before we get to the tribe or the immunity challenge, I guess, was that I thought it was super funny that so Rizzo told Camilla that, like, "Oh my gosh, like, I've been wanting to talk to you." Kyle's last words to me before he left was like, "Work with Camilla. Like, you gotta work with Camilla." Um, and Camilla seemed like she didn't believe him,
She didn't believe it.
but I love a player who's not afraid to lie. Like, the fact that he just, like and that's why I say, like, I know people have talked about it in other interviews, but I think it's important when you are on Survivor, you have to have a sense of like take an improv class. Like see like if someone tells you something, how do you react? How do you build on that? Like just because I think you could easily get caught in a lie by like just saying like, "Hey Mikhail, Shayna told me that you and her weren't really that close," and you'll be like,
Really?
"Wait, what?" And I'm like,
Well,
"Yeah, like
mm,
before we went to immunity, the tribal, she just like blurted out to me and she wanted me to vote you, but I was like, no, like you have to be able to go along with the
yeah.
story, otherwise you'll get caught in your lies so easily." And I think Rizzo is so good at that, and that's why I'm like, Rizzo's org knowledge is showing. Like he's able
Well,
to
it's
like
the ball knowledge
pull
is real.
out something like boom. Like he just pulled it out of nowhere. Like, here you
Yeah.
go. Here you go. So I'm like, Rizzo is he's cooking up. Like I feel like his storyline is now like revving up. The engine's starting and we're gonna see more of him for sure.
Yeah. So it's like view my own confessional now after that. Be like, yeah, Donnie definitely is not telling me the right information. He did not feel comfortable telling me that information.
Donnie
Yeah.
stuttered. I don't think he was telling me the truth.
Mm, yeah, he
Like,
wasn't looking me in the eyes.
mm. But
Yeah, no,
Camilla was good
I
at
love
lying
it.
too. She was good because Charlie also shared the idol information with her, and she already knew. But she's like, "What? Oh my gosh, Billie Eilish, cool. That's awesome. Like, great.
Yeah, I love how Rizzo's playing. I love how Camilo's playing too, and I think it was good that's finally started to show like Camilla is playing this game. And I'll go back to the even just kind of being like Riz God. This guy is definitely lying to me about Kyle. Like
Yeah,
she clocked it right away, and I do think it's brave to do. It's a risky thing to do, but at the end of the day, it's season 50, dude. Like you gotta play your heart out. You gotta take move. You gotta make moves. You gotta take risks. You gotta do what you can because if not, what other chance are you gonna get for eternity
yeah.
season? It's
You might
really
not get
hard.
one. You might not
You
get
might
one.
not get
And
one.
the way the show's been going, like
You ain't getting one.
people
You gotta
haven't
be a
been on the show
celebrity to get
again.
one.
I also would say like the timing of everything too. Like I think Rizzo's timing is like spot on. Like the fact that he was able to get to Camilla first and tell her the information first. Kind of built trust with her first. Like Charlie was late, which made him seem like, again, like you were saying, like, why are you telling me this? You're not telling me this to, you know, tell me. You're telling me this to steer me to vote a specific way or do this or do that. When they got to the immunity challenge, Kala wins. I think
Yeah.
they're so strong, and like, to be honest, they haven't lost anyone either. So they just are on the winning streak and they're not stopping. Like, all of them are beasts. So then we go all the way to tribal. We have two big tribals. First one, coming up, Fatu's tribal. The target was obviously Angelina. That was like what Christian wanted. Technically, that's what Ozzy wanted the round before. And Stephanie is like, sure. Emily's like, yes. And then we get a little interesting thing. So basically, Ozzy is like, Christian, for me to trust you, I need you to give me your shot in the dark. What did you think about this moment? I'm so curious to know your thoughts.
So I really love it. I think it is smart by Ozzy. You know what I mean? Like he had his little tantrum. He's like, "Hey, Christian, like I'm not gonna shut the door in your face. Like I'm not gonna say like it's completely out, but like give me your die. Like, give me it. And I think that that's smart because it does show if Christian is willing to work with Ozzy because he could have told Ozzy, nah. So then Ozzy knows, like, okay, Christian's not willing to work with me. That's one person. Is Stephanie and Emily going to follow suit with him, So I think it was smart. And I think it was smart by Christian being like, you know what? I'm going to take the risk because at this point, like, if we merge now, it's like that's an enemy right there. So I think it's a smart thing from Christian. I think him breaking the fourth wall, looking at the camera, going, "Oh, like I
He's been doing
love it."
that
That's
all
what I would do if
season.
I was on the show.
Yeah.
I would be like that. I'd have a conversation. And I'd be like, this person just told me this. Like I would just freak out. It would be so funny. But I do like it. I think it's different than what we've seen. I think it's happened before. I don't remember exact moment, but I know it's happened before where someone gave a die. So I think Ozzy, pulled a little thing out of his hat, out of his bag that he's got, and is like, hey, what are you gonna do? I'm gonna put you in this position. Gonna
Yeah.
play poker or you're not?
I think it was really smart for Ozzy to like gain some agency, like in like this tribe, like really put himself in the driver's seat because I think this whole like since they've swapped to this new Fatu tribe, Christian's been in the driver's seat like the entire time. And I think it was like a good test for him to see is Christian willing to take the back seat here? Because I think in a way, like I guess Ozzy could have been like, you know what, like I'll take your shot in the dark, we'll vote you out. But also I think in a way Ozzy's also building trust with Christian. Like, I'm keeping your shot in the dark and I'm not gonna vote you out. We're gonna go with what I said, but we're both building trust between each other. So I think there's a lot of strategy, and I think people call out Ozzy for not having a lot of strategy in the game, but I thought that was great. And
I thought it was
Christian
good.
was upset at it. He was like angry. I thought Ozzy did a great job for telling someone to like, I might I might be willing to go take Christian out. And then Christian's like, fuck, he told Emily I need to give him my shot in the dark. And he ended up giving it to him. So we'll
Mhm.
see. I did see something online, which I think is so
Oh,
interesting. It said that like technically Ozzy doesn't have to give Christian his shot in the dark back if he didn't
he
want to.
doesn't. It was
And
given to him.
I think he could use it for himself if he wants to too. I think the game mechanics will have to be like interesting. Like I think Ozzy could use a shot in the dark, but he would have to give up his vote. And then he would just have another one that he would have to give up his vote for.
Mhm.
But I also think that's interesting. And to be honest, I wouldn't give it back.
You wouldn't? Wow.
No, I
Okay.
wouldn't. I would keep it. To me, honestly, I think the right move for Ozzy here was to vote Christian out. And I think like moving into the tribal council, like just so everyone knows, spoiler alert, Angelina gets voted out 4-1.
No.
And I think it was kind of crazy that like the only person pushing for a vote for Christian was Ozzy. And maybe we just didn't see it. But for me, because Angelina voted Stephanie, it didn't seem like she had any intentions on getting Christian out. And
Mhm.
I think she should have been the one driving the vote for Christian.
Should have.
Like he just blindsided you. Why would you trust him and Emily that they're gonna vote for Stephanie now? Like if I was Angelina, I'd be like, well, this is a lie because it's clearly me or Ozzy, the two people
Mhm.
you left out of this vote. So I just think it was kind of interesting that Angelina, and again, we just didn't see her ever bring up Christian's name. And that was like, I think that was a fault of hers. And truthfully, I think if Ozzy thought he could get a little more traction, he would have went after Christian.
Mhm.
And I think he didn't think Emily would flip.
Mhm.
And yeah, I think they should have got Christian this episode. I
Yeah,
know that's your boy. I know. I know.
yeah, yeah, no. I know I've been riding for Christian, but I think it would definitely been the smartest plan. I don't think he would have expected it. Angelina has no agency in the game, like has no people that she's working with. So it's like, why wouldn't you want to pull her in? Especially Stephanie, who like I just don't get the logic with that, and it makes you wonder: was Angelina like was she doing these things and it wasn't edited in, or what was going on? But I mean, her voting Stephanie kind of makes it clear, like why wouldn't you vote, Christian? I do want to say like full circle moment, Natalie, can I have your jacket? It's Angelina giving it to Christian
Should give it to
who
Christian.
who voted her out was interesting and I loved it and I because it was a full circle moment. I think it was a nice touch and I'm not saying that she shouldn't or not going to, but I think if Angelina ends her career Survivor, it would be a perfect way to end that character's storyline. Yes, she didn't go far. Yes, she didn't. But to be able to have that full circle moment of something that was her biggest piece to Survivor from personality standpoint, what we've watched in her character development, right? I
Yeah.
think that would be amazing. And I also want to mention, I think it was so poetic and funny, and I kind of predicted it, was Mike White having such like this, I need to protect Angelina, like she's my best friend. I don't want her to go home, even though now he's putting himself in risk. He goes home, falls on that sword for Angelina, just for Angelina to go home next. It's poetic that they were together. They're on White Lotus together. There you go, best friends. And Mike White's, no, but he's still got beef with Christian.
Yeah, he does has
So
not talked to
it's
Christian since the
interesting.
season, and Angelina's
It's
not very
interesting.
happy with them either.
Yeah, it's fascinating. It's very fascinating.
And what was I just gonna say? I was going to say, I don't remember. Never mind. I was gonna say something so philosophical, so deep. I
It'll
just
come
don't.
back to you.
It'll come back to me. So then we have, I thought, the more interesting tribal council. It was rough. It was rough to watch. I'm not gonna
Mhm.
lie. Brutal for Jeff to read the votes out of order like that, where it
Yeah, it
didn't
was
seem like
interesting.
Charlie was going home at all. But also like it made like I was like, maybe they wanted us to think that Rizzo might be going home, and I was like, for a second, I'm like, let's see who did Camilla vote for because they were
Yeah.
basically like putting all the stakes on this, and yeah, poor Charlie.
Yeah, no, I think it was a very interesting, especially the way Jeff read the votes, because the edits making you think, oh gosh, Rizzo's the only one that voted that way. But then you sit there and you're like, that doesn't make any sense. So I would have rather have seen like a, Rizzo, Charlie, Rizzo, Charlie, Charlie,
Yeah,
and, I thought it was interesting Charlie's reaction. Like he didn't like he was pretty upset. Like he
he
said,
was
"Good job,
pissed.
bud," and then didn't
Yeah,
say hi to anybody. I did like how he ended, kind of with Angelina. It was like that, like perfect way to end your character type thing, where it's like he said, "Teardrops on my guitar," which if you don't know is a Taylor Swift. It's the country song. It was. I think it was a perfect way to end Charlie's career if he doesn't come back for another season. He's one of those ones where maybe he does, but like I just like the way it ended, and the only thing I didn't like was seeing him after with the confessional. He was like like that was hard to see. Like he did he
uh,
even give a confessional? I
he
don't
was
think he.
crushed. No, actually, I think he didn't say anything. Just yeah, he was upset. He was like not happy. I did see that like he actually found out from Savannah at Ponderosa that like, oh, Rizzo was lying. Ha ha ha.
Yeah. So his whole story is kind of like Volanoid a little bit in the nicest way. Like he was so like his
Volanoid.
whole arc. was kind of like pointless in the nicest way. I know it to him. I probably shouldn't say it about someone. Like, yes, it had purpose. Yes, it had like, but like, kind of just deflated himself when he got
I
there.
agree.
So,
I agree. You also said volanoid,
oh, annoyed.
null and void.
No, see, you'd get that from me if you're on Survivor. You look at good laugh, right?
All right. So right now, I want to know from you who is playing the best game right now, and after episode 5, who is like they're cooking.
You know, I think you're expecting a Christian or, maybe a D, maybe a Rizzo. But I'm gonna say Cirie Fields. What a performance. She's putting herself in a great position. She is being comfortable enough to be like, hey, like, I'm gonna work with, new gen in a sense, new era survivor player, and be like, hey, I actually like this kid. I'm not gonna be, stubborn, stuck in my ways of like, I need to work with old school or I need to work with, like, so I love it, honestly. And I think her being able to be like, hey, kind of what Q was saying with, bringing something to the table. Like, Rizzo brought that to the table and she brought her own thing of being like, hey, guess what? I have an extra vote. Let's lock it in. So I think just even building that, Black Widow Brigade 2.0, I think that's great for coming into the merge. And I think it's gonna run it. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think it's gonna stay around for a bit.
Do you think Cirie tells Rizzo about the mechanics of the Billie Eilish Boomerang Idol? Because she knows.
She might the next episode. I think if she doesn't, I think for her own game, she should be doing it when she finds out it's a merge because
Yeah.
it's gonna come out. The information's gonna come out, and guess someone's gonna be gunning for him.
Mhm.
So maybe my curious thing about it with the whole mechanics thing is if Rizzo, if she could tell Rizzo about it, and Rizzo could be like, maybe he goes, maybe Riz God doesn't do this, but like, I want to take heat off of me. Let me give the idol to Cirie and like figure out my own thing. And how does that work? If Rizzo gets
They
voted out,
can't get it. They can't give the idol
well, they
away.
can't give it out. Look at me not paying attention. Um, that's the perfect person you want to work with. No, but maybe I think Cirie has to in that sense, and I think it's a good thing regardless at the end of the day that Cirie is working with Rizzo because,
Yeah,
if Genevieve isn't working with Cirie, I don't think Genevieve targets Cirie over Rizzo
I
because
agree.
why would, you know what I mean? Like, I just don't, I think that Rizzo would get targeted before that because of that.
And also, you got to think about it. Cirie has not found a Billie Eilish Boomerang Idol, but she knows where 2 of them are. 2 of the 3. So
She's got a lot of power right now.
yeah. Wait, no, she knows where all of them are.
She does know where all of them are.
She like knows that Aubrey has it. She knows that Ozzy has it, and she knows that Rizzo had it. She knows everything. She's the queen, my queen,
Cinema.
cinema. I think before this episode, I think I would say that Christian was playing the best game.
Mm,
I think after this episode, I really do think that Rizzo's playing like
Rizzo's
pretty
playing.
well for someone to like go into a tribe, be the only person from a different tribe on a swap tribe and survive a tribal council without having to play as idol, with walking away with new allies,
Mm,
walking away with the majority on the tribe. I think that's pretty impressive. I won't give him all that credit because I know D did a lot of work for that. But I also think Rizzo is in the better position because he has the idol in his possession and not D.
mm,
So I think that's good for him. I also would say like Cirie, like even though we haven't been seeing a lot from her from the last 2 episodes, she hasn't had to go to tribal. Like
mm,
this past episode was the first time she went. And she wasn't in danger, which is why like we haven't had to see her. And I will want to say I will hope that we haven't seen a lot of Tiffany because
mm.
she's one of the few people who also
She
has not
runs
been to
it
tribal. She
on
hasn't been
that
to tribal
merge.
yet either. So like let's see. Let's see if she'll go we'll see more from her or not. Um all right, next question for you. Who's playing the worst? Who's the next time?
There's a few people I want to say Kahlo, but you don't see anything from that tribe. There's no content. They're like locked in. So
Only
like
coach. Only coach.
only coach, because he's such a big entertaining personality. They view it as right. I would say I think the first one isn't as shocking. The second one is, honestly, I think Stephanie. I think Stephanie has really done nothing unless the edit's proving her wrong. She's kind of just been going with the votes, which is fine because you're surviving, but like you never know. Like if they like for some odd reason, like she's definitely the bottom on the pecking po or on they call it pecking order, right?
Yeah,
Bottom of the
she's the bottom of the
pecking
pecking
order, right?
order.
So, like, I don't know, she needs to really, like, lock in and be like, realize that's where she's at. The other person, this might shock you, I think it's Jonathan. I really think Jonathan is not playing great because he was so, like it seemed like he was so locked in, you know, y with D and Camilla, and he had like that connection there, and he was gonna work with Charlie, you know, and then he just didn't invest in it. Like it just, and maybe that's the edit, but like he didn't really talk with D a lot. He didn't really talk with Camilla and stuff, and I think that's what made them D going like Rizzo, like you seem fun. Like, let's connect. Like Jonathan's just kind of like here, you know? So like I just don't think he's using his strategy like we kind of wanted to see him use, like more of being like instead of just like, oh, I'm a physical threat. Oh, like, you know, people don't want to take me out. Like, okay, Jonathan, you just got blindsided. Is this your wake up call to realize, hey, maybe the people you're working with that you don't talk to for any game is actually not working with you? You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And like truthfully, maybe Jonathan was the better person to get out there. Like
Yeah.
Jonathan's gonna be a huge threat when it comes to immunity challenges. They don't know that the merge is coming.
Hmm.
But I would have been like, hey guys, we can't beat him. It's funny, I just pulled up our like I was copying and pasting like in our new agenda what we pat from our old one. Last episode, to episode 3, you said Cirie was playing the best game, and I also said that Rizzo was playing the best game. We have not
Hey,
changed.
we're acknowledging it. We're acknowledging it.
We're
It's
watching
keeps
the
running.
show.
It keeps running. It keeps running. Keep it going.
What do you
I love
think
it.
the move? Oh wait, I guess my next out. Hmm. Um. I really do see that the show is painting that Genevieve might be going out soon. Genevieve or
Yeah.
Aubrey, like one of them. I don't think. I think the show like was showing us 2 epic battles. Well, three epic battles: Coach versus Ozzy, Genevieve versus Aubrey, and Charlie versus Rizzo.
Mm,
Charlie lost the war, so I think it's gonna be either
cool.
Genevieve or Aubrey. Um,
Yeah. I think it's
who's gonna
definitely
be
Genevieve.
the next
It's
out?
gotta be
And it's
Genevieve.
hard to say Aubrey because she has an idol.
She
Um,
does. I think that might be
and I would also say like Kobe's not getting a lot of screen time. Like, and
yeah.
I know that he's on that tribe, so like it's hard because I think the problem with having a 24-person season is you just don't have time to show everyone to
Yeah.
the full capacity. And I think it's just like unfortunately that's the struggle of that. Um but yeah. Move of the episode.
I
I
think
do know.
it's I think it's definitely Riz God in in his I'm gonna say Riz God in his tribal council, like his speech, I think was good. I think it built trust. And I think it did sway Camille a little bit. Second one, I would probably say honestly D for just even being like, hey, like I was aligned with this person, but you know, I kind of want to play the game a little bit. Rizzo, I kind of like you. Let's run it instead of being like, oh, Rizzo's the easy one to go. So
Do you think D and Rizzo linked up because they both are friends with Stefan or Sophie? Sophie B.
But the thing is, this is the thing, right? And this is what someone else told me is they wouldn't have known that because Rizzo was right from 49, right? Like,
Yeah, but they would have if like I mean, because D and Sophie were friends before the
oh,
show
prior.
prior.
Wow, that's crazy.
So
How do I get that? How do
they
I
both
get that? Let me get on there.
I know, like who do I have to be friends with? Maybe it's me and you.
Yeah,
Where it's like
Donnie, get on there so then you can be like, so there's this guy, he chugs milk and he's
but
just so chaotic.
I wonder, remember Rizzo was like, yes, I don't even know how to say her last name, Bellardi? Sophie
Balardi, yeah.
Bellardi was top 3. And I was like, maybe he said that to like signal to D, like, I know this is your friend because how could Sophie not tell Rizzo that she was friends with D when they're like this. Like they're
Yeah,
like
no,
this.
true.
So I think they have like a little bit of like mutual friend connection.
Yeah.
Not saying that means anything, but like saying
Pre-game?
like a lot of people pregame, so it's not really
Thank you.
like out of the stratosphere.
Ordinary.
The move of the episode for me, I have to give it to my boy Ozzy. I thought it was very baller
Mm.
what he did. I thought I don't know. I see that, and Ozzy's never been a type of person who hasn't been wanting to push votes and all these things, but I can tell that he's playing slightly different this time, where he's not just relying on winning. He's not just relying on numbers. He's like, how what can I do as an individual? So I thought that was awesome. And also like I'm sorry, Christian's been playing great, and I like Christian as a player, but I also think he's been playing a little sloppy, and I
Yes.
think it's, like, nice to, like, call that out. And actually, next out, I also wanna maybe add Christian and Emily. I think they've been playing great, but they've also
Wow.
been playing so sloppy. I feel like both of them. Like, from the last episode, I was like, "How could Christian even trust Emily at this point?" Like, I don't know how he trusts her. And honestly, Emily she be flipping, as we've
She's
said before.
messy.
She's messy. She's a messy player. Emily in a 17-person merge, I don't know how long she's gonna last. Like too many people,
She's
too
she's
many.
cooked.
She can't control herself.
Can't
Uh,
control.
those are my messiest players of the week. Emily and Emily and Christian. If I had to pick two. Do you have any messy players? Do you want to call it
Charlie.
out? Sure.
Charlie, and I'd probably say I'm gonna say Emily over Christian, and I'll tell you why I'm gonna say that. So,
Yes. Tell us.
I think for me personally, Emily has such a strong connection with Ozzy, and that was what this has been like. Edit, maybe it's the edit, but like it's been painting, and it's like for me, it's like we don't see it at all. Like Emily is not realizing like you have this strong connection that's going to get you inroad. Like, oh, I'm just gonna go along with Christian, and I don't like that because she's not playing her game. She's just saying like, oh, like like I trust Christian now because he did this. But you also are saying that you trust Ozzy, and you did all that and kind of fell on a sword to give Ozzy trust and wanting to tell Ozzy. So it's like
Mhm.
part of me doesn't like that she's not at least relaying information or even trying to build a connection with Ozzy, because in my opinion, she wouldn't be the one getting screwed. It'd be Stephanie over her.
Yeah, I
You know, if
agree.
something happened.
She's not really, like, pouring into that relationship the way that she should be.
And the difference, I would say the difference is Christian is like he's just at this point just doing anything he can and trying to kind of be a what's it called? The Godfather type,
Yeah.
Boston Rob in
I think,
aspect.
like, Christian's trying to show off,
He
and,
is.
like, I just think, like maybe he's like, "I'd rather be memorable." Like,
I mean,
maybe
that's what
that
I would do. I think that's and he's already played once, he's already had countless things,
and
and
that's
probably made
just
less.
advice too, like, the likelihood of you winning is low, so why not just go for it? So,
Exactly.
that's a good advice for you, me, anyone who plays. Go for it. You rather be memorable than, you know, accidentally go home following a storyline that's not even real.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
And that's why I say Charlie messy because invest in your damn relationships. My
Yeah.
gosh, maybe it's the edit. And Charlie, if you're watching, I apologize if it was the edit, but like it just didn't seem like you invested a whole lot. And it's like you go to Camilla right before going, "Did you know that Rizzo has this? We should vote him." Not,
Yeah.
"Hey, like let's talk. What are your thinking numbers? Like letting Camilla like be like the one that's like processing it and being like, maybe Rizzo is kind of a wild card. Let's vote Rizzo. You know what I mean? Instead of being like, I'm Charlie, vote this way. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like I think that to me it was messy gameplay, and I think like D said, it was dumb gameplay and he went home for it.
Dumb dumb gameplay. Also, something that people said that we didn't see is that, like, people's basically, like, the show painted Camilla as this, like, swing vote, but no way she votes on the opposite side of D.
Yeah, I agree. She's always connected with D at this point. She's been kind of interlocked with her. I think if she did, it would for her. I think it would really D would especially she knows how D works and that D's a winner. I think if you do that, she knows that D is going to not want to work with her. Like, and I think that I'm hoping that Camilla realizes, like, hey, I understand that people are going to change at 50, but the probability of someone playing different, honestly, we haven't seen it a lot. Like, a lot of them are kind of
Everyone's kind of
like
playing the same.
playing the
Same
same, right?
survivor wounds. Although they're
See,
just opening up.
so it's like if I'm watching it, right, and you're D and I'm Camilla, and I'm like, oh, D, we're working together, kind of what you saw with Austin, and D, right? But then D blindsides you. So it's like you kind of got to realize that I'm hoping Camilla's like, okay, let me get on this, but then I need to play my game and be like, okay, D needs to go because she's the one orchestrating this. Let me flip and
Yeah.
work with these people. So
Maybe she could have. I don't know. So let's take a quick look at our drafts.
yes,
I know one of ours is maybe a little different.
Angelina, oh
Angelina's
my, I'm
gone.
cooked. I'm cooked.
So you've lost 2 people on your um draft before. So now you only have Kobe, Camilla, Christian, Rick, Tiffany,
I'm
and
so
Calvin.
cooked.
But like
I got them for free, so we'll take it.
you got them for
They're
free.
basically free.
All right, next is my draft. Still fully intact. I only have 7 people because I wanted Ozzy. I really wanted Ozzy, so I
Smart.
didn't take 2 of the dollar people. But I think we're looking pretty strong. Your winner pick and my winner pick are on my list. D is on my list. Emily is on my list. She's bringing us down. But it's okay.
That's why she's
It's
in the
okay.
middle of the bottom.
That's why she's gonna be the first one out on here, I think. We'll see. And then
Rip the
here's the
audience.
audience list. They're not doing horrible. They only have 4 people left.
I can't believe we didn't pick Coach. Like, Coach
I did
seems like he's just getting this edit where he's gonna go like deep into
sure.
merge.
I just don't like Coach.
Yeah,
Truthfully,
it's
that's
fair.
sorry.
It's fair.
Coach, sorry. I will come see your band. Maybe you're better in
You're
person.
banned with that.
Yeah, I don't know, but I don't want him on my team. Sorry.
Yes. I mean, Stephanie could have a good run too, being like, I
She
don't
could
think right now she's a big threat. So I think people might be like, well, we can just kind of get rid of her anytime. And I'm hoping that she turns that around and be like, okay, like they're underestimating me. Like, let me lock in. Let me make some moves, some old school moves.
make some moves. Definitely make some moves. All right. The one thing that we haven't talked about that I want to touch on really quick before we go. So we're seeing how this season is playing out. We're seeing all these personalities and these people. Who isn't here that should be here? Who would bring the razzle dazzle to the season? Give me 2 people because I know who I'm thinking.
Ooh, who are you picking?
I think it's a travesty of economic proportions that Andy is not on our screens this season. We need Andy. We need more chaos agents. I think it would be impossible not to edit people out of the show if they were just causing true chaos. We lost Q. We're not getting Tiffany. We needed Andy. We needed him. He needed to be on this season.
Who replaces Andy? That's the question. Or who does Andy replace?
Charlie. Oh no.
I agree. I honestly I agree. I honestly agree with that. I think that's good. Even though I think like he's one of those players where it's like I think everybody was so excited to watch him play again. But like honestly, I was not fully on board for it. I think he needed I think he would have been a good one to have in like a finalist season.
Yeah, I would have preferred instead of Charlie, maybe a Sam from Rachel
Yeah.
Lamont season, or honestly, even Carson was great.
Jesse.
Yeah, Jesse, someone who can fit that same archetype, but I just think Charlie came in quote unquote with nothing to prove.
Mhm.
Therefore, he didn't feel like he had to improve on anything. And I think that was kind of a fault of his. I just think Andy would have just he would have just added. Jesse needed to be on this season too, but yeah.
Hmm.
Andy, yeah, I needed Andy. Sorry. I just had to say it. We haven't talked about it. And I'm why don't we have Andy on this season? Andy and
You know,
Emily together.
that would be perfect. Wait, who's your other one?
I mean, I literally just wanted to give some space for Andy, but if I had to pick, you know who we have not seen on the show in a long time, who I think will be great on the show? Jay from Gen Millennials versus Gen X or whatever that season is with Michaela,
Yep.
Adam.
Yep.
I think we needed Jay too.
Jay.
Jay has been like kind of doing his own thing with other shows, but I also think this would have been a perfect opportunity to bring him back. He's only been on the show once, but he was so good at the show, so I would have rather seen him back too. 2 more
Yeah.
men though. Yeah, add to our men narrative.
I actually, I think that there's a few people that I honestly like. I have a good amount that I could see, like, plug and play kind of thing. I think, Sean from was it, I think it's Marquesas. I think he should have came back. I know a lot of people were rumored to have him back. Um and then I think I know a lot of people wanted Malcolm back too.
Mm-hmm.
And Malcolm didn't come back. Or even Denise. I think Denise would have been interesting after going from 40 and kind of not doing the greatest. Let's see kind of how she plays again. But I think the three that are kind of newer, like middle, like, 30s, and 40s that were like first to my mind is Davy, because I would have loved to have seen Davey play again, and then him also working with Christian would have been
Yeah,
interesting. That would have been really fun, because if you've been watching, Davey is a Christian stan. Like
spicy. He's spicy.
he's been like, Mike White did this, and like I love it. I love
Mhm.
it so much, and I think he would have been great, and David. I think David as well. The nerd, the one that was working with Ken, and Ken ended up like voting him out. Do you remember him? Who was like, he was so shy and he didn't really like talk to
What
anybody.
season was he on,
I
David?
think he was. What season? I think it was around David versus Goliath, but before. Might have been Millennium. Right, David Wright.
Oh, David, the one that got to Final Five. That
The
one?
one that got to Final Five and his best
Yeah.
friend Ken voted him out. That
No,
was heartbreaking.
yeah,
Like, I think he would have been a good one, because he had that first season where it was like, I'm so shy, like now I've developed. Okay, now that you've
yeah,
had time away from the game, how have you thought strategizing? And also, like, are you going to revert back to old tendencies, or are you going to be like, you know what I mean? Like, so that, I think he would have been a fun one. And one that I don't know if you would suspect, and I know we got to wrap it up here, but Venus. Honestly, I would love to see her. Um,
he should have been on
um,
this season. She
I
would have
I
been
think
great.
she would have been an entertaining player, because, like, personally, she grew on me a lot. Like, I did not like her at the start, and then she, like, just kept going and going and
Yeah, she
going, and
was
I
great. She
loved
was
it.
good.
I loved it, and I think that, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, there's another player too. Sorry, sorry, audience. You gotta listen a little longer. But she would have been a fun one to watch. But also, I think
I was gonna say Say
I think
too. Say
Say
should have
would
been
have
on
been
this season.
so good, because okay, and she was like that cockroach where it was like you thought she was going, and she was going, and she's like, hell no, I'm still here, like I'm still going. And she was a villain. Like, I feel
Yeah,
like
we need more villains. We need more
we don't
villains.
have villains on this season. So, like, I would have loved to have seen Say, give it another play. And does she change how she plays? You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Does she play? And oh my gosh, I'm thinking of so many people, like Caleb too. Like, Caleb would have been a great play. Like, I would rather seen Caleb play than Ozzy for a fifth time. I'm
yeah,
sorry, Ozzy's had five. Why are we watching him play? Like, the only one that I think gets that respect is Cirie, because, like, it's Cirie Fields. Like, come on, you know what I mean?
Serena, yeah. Hmm.
So I just would have personally liked to have seen, like, I think honestly, out of everybody that I've said, now that I'm looking at, probably Davies, Say, and just David Wright, because, like, I
Yeah,
personally have a good connection
David
with
Wright
him
would have
growing
been
up.
good on this season for sure.
Ugh.
I think the scene where Say runs in and takes that idol thing from Charity, I think that was her name.
Mm.
It's single-handedly the best scene in the new era. It literally took me out of my seat. I was laughing when Charity sees it and she's running up, and Say just comes like a fucking linebacker and take I don't know why they didn't do that. I'm
Yeah,
sorry. We
I
should
think
have
she would
had
have been
her.
perfect for this
She
cast.
would have been good.
Yeah, I think, in the nicest way, I think I would have rather seen. I know we got Aubrey for, like, reasons for, like, I would have rather seen Say than Aubrey. Like,
Yeah.
I think in my opinion, like, even though I've heard a lot of things and I feel like Aubrey's probably gonna have a good run, I think, like, Aubrey, I think honestly, Emily, I'm not liking how I think Ozzy's another one. Charlie, like those are some players where I'm like, I kind of wish I wish they had. I think that they need to do a second chances
Yeah.
and open it up to your 30s, your 40s. I think that would have been. I think they just personally need that for a good amount of characters.
Amir, Carla.
Yeah, him too.
Bring Carla back. We get so many people. We could talk about this all day, but I just wanted to give some space for that because we had not talked about who should have been in this
Yes.
season. Well, thank you all for listening. For our double episode 4 and 5 episode for Survivor. We're coming back. We got Merge coming up, 17 people. Apparently a 3-person probably are going home. I don't know how this is gonna work. So we're gonna see some dynamic stuff. Mr. Beast is still coming at some point. My theory, this is my theory. I have to say it before we go. My theory is that there's has to be at least 2 triple eliminations for like there even to be like enough time. I think Mr. Beast comes. I don't know if you've ever seen the show Beast Games.
I haven't, but I've seen clips.
Well, based on Beast Games, he bribes people sometimes to leave the game. I think he's going to have a bribe for someone to leave the game, and they're going to leave the game.
Whoa! Like $1
for a
million
bribe.
to leave the game?
I don't know if it's $1 million because that's the
That
prize.
everybody
Like,
would take that. They'd be like me.
yeah. If he offered me, I'm not. I mean, even when I watch the show, I'm like, man, for like
That's what that
500,000, I might
briefcase is. That
leave.
makes
Yeah,
sense.
I think it's gonna be a bribe, and I think someone's either gonna win it and be able to like take it or not take something. There's gonna be something. I don't know what the
Yeah.
mechanic is, but I'm thinking that someone else gets out from the game from that. And then also Jimmy Fallon's still coming apparently. So like
Christian's got to stick around till then.
there's still stuff happening, guys. We got a lot to see. And the Beyonce knowledge is power is coming.
It's gotta be. It's gotta.
It's coming.
We
It's
ride if not.
we riot if not. You know what? We're gonna do we're gonna go on the season and riot.
We're gonna be on our we're gonna go on and prove them wrong why they
prove
need
them
it.
wrong.
And we're gonna go on this podcast and be like, what the hell, Jeff? What the hell? Where is it? It's important for our games.
It is. I need it. That's how I stick around.
I need it.
All right. Bye, everyone.
See you later.
Your typical podcast.